Hey there, gamers. Isomnia here for IceBleu Gaming, and today I wanted to show you guys a T6 Tank Monk build. This build is focused for group play, for Paragon farming right now. I did enough bail runs in Diablo 2, and running in to a game for less than a minute or so, a minute or two, doing Crypt of the Ancient runs really is not appealing to me or Blue or any of our other gaming buddies in our clan here on D3. So we decided to go a Torment 6 farming group and not just run in and do one zone, but actually do almost all the zones in Act 1, even Act 2 and Act 3. We were doing a little bit, but we had enough farming of Act 3 when we were getting our barbarians to Paragon 100 pre 2.0 patch. So I want to show you guys my Torment 6 monk build. I leveled this monk last week during my college midterms, so it's a fresh monk. Didn't really have any legacy gear to go with. It's just all pretty much self-found and self-crafted since the pre-expansion patch came out a few weeks ago. So just to give you, and this build is a little bit gear dependent. You got to have some good gear, but you don't need to have don't necessarily need to have what I have on. I do have the 4-piece Blackthorns. I was fortunate enough to get all of them, and then one of my clan mates actually, when we were doing Torment 6 farming, he had a pair of Dex boots drop and ended up giving me the Dex boots, so shout out to Fnatic for that. Thank you very much, buddy, for finishing off that 4-piece so that I can tank Torment 6 for us better. It's a great time. Blackthorns is one of the entry-level sets. If you guys have been playing, chances are you've probably gotten a couple pieces of it. I've gotten 2 pieces of it on my wizard, and have actually gotten 3 dexterity belts and I think 2 dexterity pants. So yeah, but also, I crafted the hallowed weapons. They are very good, especially if you just are getting a character to level 60 and you don't have the legacy weapons. This was my first dexterity character on this account, so first max level one, and I needed some weapons. I got fortunate enough to have the plans drop because the legendary and set crafted plans are dropping like candy right now. If you don't know them, hopefully you guys are getting some to drop. So did manage to get some nice weapons in there. I have tried this tank build out with one of the hallowed shields, so a shield is an option. Also, I just prefer the faster attack speed of dual wielding, just for a little bit faster spirit production, because as you guys will see as I go into the skills here in a moment, the build is very based on keeping your spirit up, trying to gain that spirit, and when we do a Let's Play video tomorrow, when I can get Blue on here and his Demon Hunter, we'll showcase what it looks like for tanking Torment 6. But here we go. For left click here, I have Crippling Wave with Rising Tide to increase my spirit production. Right click here is Exploding Palm, because it's a great spender, and it's probably the best skill in the game for group play. You guys know Exploding Palm, it deals 50% of the max life of the mob when that mob dies in an AoE around it, and with the Strong Spirit rune, it gives you 10 spirit for each enemy caught in the blast. This build is based around spamming Cyclone Strike and Exploding Palm on low health targets, because you are acting as the tank for your group. You're trying to keep those mobs off of your buddies, off of your squishies, your wizards, your demon hunters. And even though nobody's really too squishy in this pre-expansion patch anymore, once you get some new gear, your vitality and your toughness really starts to stack up. So I do like to go Inner Sanctuary for a big cooldown here. I use it mainly on champ packs to pull in the champ pack, or go and stand on the elite guy and pull in his minions. And be able to drop Inner Sanctuary not only for a 55% damage reduction for you and your other melee classes that are standing close to the mob with you, but also taking Forbidden Palace and offering a 30% increased damage buff, because some of the champ packs, especially if you get one with extra health here on Torment 6, they do take a couple minutes to get down, or when you run into those unique mobs, the purple named guys, they can have quite some health too, and they might not even be hitting that hard, but they're a pain just to finish off. Next, I take Dashing Strike. Dashing Strike is an excellent skill. They really buffed the heck out of it, made it a lot more fun. When I'm doing a DPS monk, I typically take Barrage because it's a great ability to have. When I started out this tank build, I was actually going with trying between Quicksilver just to have 3 dash charges to get out of things that I needed. Once I got 4-piece Blackthorns, I wasn't as worried about getting out of Molten or Desecrator or Plagued quite as quickly. But Quicksilver's an option here for you guys. And then also Blinding Speed can be a great option. It gives you that dodge if you're dashing into the pack right away and then popping that Cyclone Strike to keep them off your buddies and get them in close and tight so they can get burnt down. That extra dodge can be handy. I myself am using Flying Sidekick for the stun because I was fortunate enough to have the Haunt of Vaxo amulet drop, and it's a pretty decent one. Dex, Vitality, crit chance, and some resist along with a socket. I know it's a crap gem in there, sorry, I'm embarrassing myself, but new gems next week, guys. But anyway, the Haunt of Vaxo offers when you stun an enemy, you create 2 shadow clones, and these 2 shadow clones, they last for 15 seconds on a 30-second cooldown, and the enemies do attack them, as well as they do some pretty decent DPS. They also they use your skills abilities, pretty much just like the shadow clones when you're fighting Diablo. I see these shadow clones for Monk personally putting up Exploding Palm with the 20% damage debuff rune, so that's pretty exciting when you see them put that up. It's a fun time. So that is why I have the stun. Typically on this monk, when I'm just farming, I've been taking Lashing Tail Kick with the stun rune on that to use this amulet. Finally, here we've got Cyclone Strike with Implosion. Unless your monk is built around a certain damage type right now, pretty much for T6 tank farming, you want to have Implosion. It offers that extra yardage, that extra area to pull in those mobs, make sure you're doing a good job keeping them off your friends and grouping them up, because the more clumped up things are in Diablo, the faster they die in a group. So the more DPS that your big bursty friends can put out on them. So that's important. I fully recommend that. And then for mantras, this kind of comes down to whatever level your gear's at. As I mentioned, this monk was not my main before the pre-expansion patch came out. I am thinking about making it my main as we move into the expansion later this week. Can't be more excited about the release. Don't even want to get into it. Been waiting for half a lifetime for Diablo 3 to get out of beta and get into what is now going to be its expansion. So Mantra of Evasion here is what I've typically been using because it buffs up I've been bringing in friends. Some of them don't necessarily have the best gear for Torment 6 farming. Even tried it in a couple public games recently. And the Mantra of Evasion with Hard Target just increases that armor by 20% and can be such a vital thing. Some other good choices for you if you're going to try out this tank monk build, or if you have another monk joining you in a T6 game. Mantra of Healing with Time of Need for the resistance buff is excellent, but even better than that, I would recommend Mantra of Conviction, because everybody likes dealing more damage. And for T6 farming, even though Overawe is always appealing with that extra damage dealing bonus on it, I actually would suggest and highly recommend taking Intimidation with Mantra of Conviction for T6 farming at this point, just because having enemies deal 15% less damage is excellent. It helps your buddies stay alive, because if you start having a couple friends die, then the whole thing falls apart. And T6 farming, yeah, I'm talking it up a bunch. It's not that difficult right now at level 60, just because we all have been playing at level 60 for quite some time now, and most everybody's characters are pretty well geared out, but that is going to change. It is going to get hard when the expansion drops. And currently, T6 farming, mainly just champ packs and elite packs, are what's going to give you trouble. The white mobs, for the most part, unless they're specific mob types, will not be too difficult to take down. Lastly here, I want to discuss Monk T6 farming passives. I've been taking Seize the Initiative for that extra 30% armor of your dexterity, and pumping all of my Paragon points into dexterity. Near death experience, because every once in a while you will get into a situation where you're standing in the middle of a group of mobs, you're not getting enough spirit quickly enough, and something happens and you are gonna die. And near death experience is a great passive right now for that. Works every minute. So only a minute cooldown, bringing you back up when you die instead of dying, maybe giving you that opportunity to use Dashing Strike to dash out of that arcane or that desecrator or plagued on the ground, whatever that may be. And then lastly, it's kind of user's choice here. I've been typically taking Resolve just to provide another group buff when I Cyclone Strike a large group, making those guys deal 20% less damage, especially if they're ranged mobs like Spear Chuckers or any of the ranged mobs that might be one or two shotting your friends. If they're in low toughness gear so far, it can be helpful. Some other decent options: Guardian's Path isn't great, but it's better than a lot of things. But it's really user's choice there. I highly recommend Resolve. 20% flat is 20% flat. That's great. One with everything. If you're still wearing a lot of pre-expansion patch gear, a lot of older gear, legacy gear. There we go, friends. If you're still wearing a lot of legacy gear, or you just happen to have one resistance that's really high, that can be great. Also, if you do already have excellent gear, then maybe you want to take Exalted Soul, or maybe you want to take Chant of Resonance if you're going Conviction Aura and spamming that for the extra damage for you and your party. But that's basically it. Also, lastly, I want to mention that you can, some excellent things to do here. You can absolutely afford to swap out for damage gear, or for toughness gear, excuse me, so that you can take your role as monk tank to the next level. You're not so much damage dealing. Your spender is Exploding Palm, and you go in and you're relying on your party to deal the damage, and you to just keep them controlled, keep them centrally located with Cyclone Strike, so that they can get burnt down as quick as possible and then explode all over the place. So that, friends, is Isomnia's Torment 6 Monk Tank group build for group farming. If you like it, try it out, check it out, hope you do, and we will be doing a Let's Play of some Torment 6 farming tomorrow. So, Isomnia out. Thanks for watching, guys.